Hi everyone, welcome back after our study week to this introductory video for Module 4 in Week 8. So this little video is just a brief introduction and a bit of an apology. You'll come to see why when you click on Lecture 1, which I had to do a bit of a chop to, and I'm so sorry. In this video, I'm going to bridge the gap that is missing from my terrible editing skills. To make a long story short, the computer that I'm running and the technology within it have failed me. So I'm left with kind of pieces of video files that cannot be glued together in a way that makes any sense. So I just removed the part that was offensive to our technological sensibilities and am replacing it with this little video and the little kind of bridge between the two. So again, I'm so sorry, but it wouldn't be a course in technology and social impact if there weren't any problems, right? You're being socially impacted by this. So, for this module, you are going to be looking at the way in which technology has shaped how we work. And there's lots of fun things for us to be thinking about in this topic. So, of course, like we do every module, we'll have a little section coming up on the business, and I'll just share some housekeeping things with you. Then you will be warming up by capturing your instincts and intuitions about robots and automation in the workplace. So there will be a little poll everywhere for you to participate in our notebook. And we can collect the data over the week and see what we get. So we'll be warming up with the question about robots at work. I have a little philosophical treat for you. I just couldn't resist. It's one of my favorite philosophers of all time, the great British philosopher Bertrand Russell, who writes quite eloquently and clearly about the nature of work and some of the inherent contradictions within it, and why we should be praising idleness rather than productivity. So something fun to think with and think about. And then the rest of the lecture you are going to be engaging in for this module will cover topics like the division of labor, social structure and social inequality. We will be addressing whether or not technology makes our work life easier, and we will get to know technological paradox number 2. We'll talk about economic globalization and ways in which capitalism can be improved. And then we will take a look at 2 case studies regarding the changing patterns of work. One, you will be looking at the development of timekeeping and the concept of time. And the second is, of course, the gig economy. So both are there to sort of inform us a little bit about how our technologies and our techniques have changed our world of work. So without further ado, let's get on to the business. So our big things to share with you this time around. Your seminar outlines are, my feedback on them is all complete. We are up to date there. So please be sure to log into Blackboard and go to the assignment. And there you can see the comments that I have made on your work. But by and large, I'm really excited to see what your projects come up with in terms of research. There's some really creative and inventive ideas floating around, and we have things that are from prehistory all the way to well into the future. So I'm really looking forward to our project fair later this semester. But in the event that you were wondering and hadn't checked in yet, I do have that all complete. So, yay. The only other point of business I have to share with you is just a reminder, a friendly reminder to keep participating in our notebooks. I'm going to be doing a grading sweep shortly and sort of get all of that caught up as much as I can. But there is a final due date, so if you've missed the early modules and didn't quite participate yet, there's still time for you to do that. Just hop on in and get it done. The due date, the absolute final due date for notebook participation is on April 9th. So you will want to make sure that you're going to do what you're going to do before that date. All right? And of course, if you have any questions, comments, concerns regarding the business, you can always reach out to me. I should have the exam portions that you wrote for me all graded up probably in the next 2 weeks. So that is that. All right, so let's move on to our topic du jour. So I want you to meet this robot lady. This is a photograph taken from a vacation that my husband and I went on to Japan a few years ago. And this is in a shopping center on the island of Odaiba, which is in Tokyo. And what you are seeing here is a fascinating piece of technology. So this robot lady works at this shopping mall, and she is there to help you with customer service questions. So if you were looking for, let's say, a place to grab a snack, you can ask her, and she will give you directions to where to find what it is that you're looking for. I found her completely transfixing. I spent a few minutes sort of sitting on a bench with my long-suffering husband, who's used to me engaging in social scientific experiments, especially while on vacation. But we sat sort of aside and watched how people interacted with her. Because what she was there to do was to provide a particular service. But across from her was a real human being who was providing the same service. So what we were seeking to see was sort of being able to observe how people interacted with her and whether or not they preferred a human to a robot. And what's neat about this robot customer service representative is that she behaved as if she were a real person. Her hands would move as she talked, her head, her eyes would blink, her mouth would move in the appropriate way, and if you spoke to her, she would speak back to you in your language. So we watched people interact with her. We saw a couple who spoke German speak to her, and she responded back in German. We saw some Japanese couples, and of course a number of English families and couples engaging with her. And for the most part, she got the job done. She gave some good directions. She was able to show you on kind of this holographic map, which is pretty groovy, very futuristic. But what I found most interesting is, by and large, people treated her still as a novelty. So they would ask her their questions, they would get her response, but they would also go to the human being across from her and verify the information. So the question that I had in my mind, well, especially around Japan, because Japan is kind of as a culture much more comfortable with automation and robots in the workplace. And if you read kind of popular news magazines here in North America, you can really get the sense that we're very anxious about it. There's a lot of hand-wringing about how robots are going to take away jobs from real human beings, and that's an injustice because there's only so many jobs to go around, or at least that's the assumption. So the question for you to ponder and to hop on over to the notebooks is to think about your feelings about robots in the workplace. And when you log into our notebook, you'll see a poll that you can participate in. And it just asks you a very simple question. Are you anxious about robots in the workplace? So you can click your response, and we'll collect them, and I'll write some observations down in the comment section of the notebook as we go along and collect some of the responses. But I'm really interested to hear what you think and why. So that's going to be it for this video. When you go to Lecture 1, you're going to hear me wrapping up my piece about the terror in the workplace that you see here. I've tried my best to link them together, but you should be able to carry on from here. And again, I apologize for the hatchet job of editing, but there was no other way to go about this, so I apologize if it's a bit cringy. But it gets better, I promise. Alright folks, thanks for watching this wee little video, and we'll see you in the next one.